Governor Tammy Delaney from Hayden Granary. And one fact I'd like to know, and I believe you're the first governor in probably your terms, you visited Northwest Colorado probably more than the last 5 governors combined. So I don't have the facts, but grateful to have you here.
I'll get those facts, thank you.
Mine is concerned with Northwest Colorado. We're very good at producing food, water, and the heat that keeps our shelters. Mine is on food. I would just urge common sense in regulations coming forward around local food systems, and how can we make it easier and facilitate the process of being able to consume food from people we know and trust rather than by major corporations. So thank you.
I got that loud and clear. We've already, I remember when I was at your place about a year and a half ago probably, been too long. But that concern where you need to regulate something that really doesn't need regulation, right, and is operated with essentially no problems for decades, is a classic problem of overgovernment. And I get that, and I think we've got some solutions in place that'll mitigate or eliminate that. You know, we've now eliminated. We have every agency from our first week, and as a small business guy, right? I understand that there's appropriate regulation, like I think what we do with methane and the oil and gas people, and working hard to make sure we cover the small operators as well as the big guys. But there's also regulation keeps feeding itself, and you end up with a bunch of red tape and regulations. We've now either gotten rid of or dramatically changed 6,500 rules within the state bureaucracy. We do these things called lean programs. You ever heard Toyota makes cars? They call a lean process improvement. But everybody involved in the process has a voice, and everyone works together for certain goals of usually how to get the time reduced and get a process done more rapidly. We've now done 110 of those in the state government, by almost double, more than any other state's ever done. It's towards the effort to try and get government. Part of the job of government should be to get the friction out of business, not to add more friction to it.
Thank you, David. I'm Ray Owens, and I manage work at Board Gulch Ranch here in Moffett County. I'm going to read my statement because it needs to be short and sweet. The ranch is over 10,000 deeded acres with 3 BLM grazing allotments. This land is in the dead center of the target area for this sage-grouse stuff. We've been very proactive in the sage-grouse initiative, creating water sources, wildlife-friendly fencing, reseeding back to native, and fencing riparian areas to protect the rearing habitat. I don't manage for a single species, I manage for multiple species. I work closely with the biologists from the NRCS, CPW, to develop a habitat plan that provides both grazing for livestock and wildlife habitat. Even though it directly offends us, none of the activity that we've done on private property can be recognized or considered in the new restrictions being requested by the BLM. Mr. Governor, we need your help and your voice in protecting what we are doing as landowners with our on-the-ground efforts to manage our properties effectively. We've been given tours on this property to show what can be done to improve habitat. At the SGI tour this year in Northwest Colorado, sponsored by the NRCS, Board Gulch was the only property that sage-grouse were seen on. As I stated before, we give many tours, and I would welcome the chance to give you a tour to show what can and is being done, and is very beneficial to the land for all species. Thank you.
Luckily, there wasn't a question, but I'm gonna take his statement and imagine a question, and say, "Are you willing to go get Sally Jewell, the Secretary of the Interior, and invite her to come down for a tour of the ranch?" Yes, I'd be happy to. Hey, I guess you did ask me if I'd come. I'm happy to come, and I will. I mean, exactly. I will come, but I'll try to get. Sally Jewell. She doesn't understand this issue. When I talked to her about it, she understood what I was saying, but she said, I can't commit to anything yet. I've got to, hear both sides. I got to work on it. Reading and hearing in Washington is not the same as going somewhere and seeing what someone's invested over a long period of time to improve habitat. So let me give you my commitment, we'll have to go to try and get her out here, and we'll figure out, we'll bring the little king air out here again, bring her right to your ranch. One last question. Please don't, come on, I'm always a little late.
I'm sorry.
Not as late as I was today.
I'm sorry, I'm probably being rude because you told me there wasn't any more time for questions. But my name is Terry Moe, my husband and I own a hotel here, and we thank you so much for coming. It does mean a great deal. We actually campaigned to get Ronnie here last year, and we did. And we actually actively campaigned to get you here. We sent out thousands of emails, we sent tons of invitations. I know other people have too. Thank you very much for coming. My question, you've probably addressed it somewhat, but I need a little more clarification because I'm not totally following everything that you're saying. I just saw a study yesterday that talked about the 5 best run states in the United States. It was Wyoming, North Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and Utah. Most of those states, it was because of energy and agriculture. Now, last year when you were here, I believe it was in Haiti, I think it was last year anyway, time runs together, you had stated you were not about to take our coal jobs away from us. But then you followed up that statement by saying, but you need to tell your kids to get in a different line of work. Now,
Yes, you did. I was there. I was there. I was there.
Anyway, let me finish this. So that it was shocking to us, and I know you're giving us a lot of data that you're saying that's being produced by these groups and whatnot, and obviously we all have different ways how to be tracked. A lot of the people in your urban corridors, whether it be the Front Range or even back east, these are the same people that think food comes from a grocery store and energy comes from a furnace. Now, obviously, out in rural areas, we don't think that way. As far as the top 5 states in the country, they manage the best. They have the highest per capita income, the least amount of deficit, the least amount of unemployment. As far as I'm concerned, I think probably most people here, Colorado could be in the top 5. We have the natural resources here. Now, I know even like with this gun legislation, you referred to some very good data that you have. As a hotelier, I can tell you we had a lot of hunters this year that talked to us about what happened with the Second Amendment. They said they did not cancel their hunting trips for this year because they already had their plans in place, they already had their vacation set, their licenses were already purchased. But they were telling me next year they're not going to come back because they wanted to boycott Colorado because they were upset. So maybe you don't hear those things on the Front Range. We're hearing them here when our livelihood is either energy or hunting. We're either tourism or energy, which is kind of an ironic twist because so many people seem to think that our energy is so bad we can't have tourism. Well, we do have both, and that's where we're being hit. But our tourists are telling us we're upset with these legislations that are coming down. I had to sit down in the lobby of our hotel and talk to a bunch of hunters from Texas and plead with them, please don't boycott us, because it's not going to hurt anyone on the Front Range, but it's going to hurt us. And again, when you refer to all these statistics of, okay, well, we need to wait, these numbers are going to come out. In the meantime, you're killing us, you're putting us out of work. What are we supposed to do? Even Al Gore himself said, these new technologies aren't going to be ready for 20, 30, 40 years. In the meantime, we're going to starve. We feel like we have clean coal technology here. We feel like the investments can be made here. We can have cleaner skies than anywhere else. I've lived here 25 years. I've lived here 25 years, and I honestly can say I don't know a single person with asthma here. I have 2 brothers that live in Southern California. They both have asthma. And there's not a single coal-fired power plant in California. So please don't put us all out of work while somebody's trying to figure out these numbers, because even the EPA has admitted shutting down these coal-fired power plants is not going to help global warming, and NASA even did a particulate study, and all the problems that the United States has with polluted air is California and the East Coast. There was nothing over the Midwest and nothing over Colorado.
So, and I don't have a tape of what I said when I was out there saying, don't have your kids work in coal mines. the only thing I can think of is in a high sulfur mine or something, but
No, you were running for election.
well, that's not what she's saying this because I said because I was running for election. In Craig, Colorado, if you were running for election, is that what you'd say? Probably not. So I don't think that's what it was, whatever mistake that I made. I think that the issue around coal is just what I said, that there's going to be continual effort to make it cleaner, right? And it is by far the least expensive, most available energy source we have, but as there are more people using more energy, there's going to be a drive to make it cleaner. And that's the balance to figure out what's appropriate there. In terms of the tourism, we have worked as hard as we possibly could and used our own advertising to try and battle back against any boycotts. You know, I realize this doesn't make a difference. I mean, this country has always, without taking people's guns away from them, we have always had a balance between public safety and guns. And when you look at all the mass murders, and I understand that people kill people, right, not the guns. But there's roughly in the last 30 years about 650 people died, 1,000 people wounded in these senseless acts of generally people that are, you know, they're off their, you know, they're. I'm trying to figure out what the right way is, because someone's going to quote this and put it out on Twitter, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. But in all those, you know, something like 60% of them had magazines where if you were shooting range, you'd have to, you know, you can only shoot 15 rounds, you have to reload it. I understand that's an inconvenience, and I get that. I had police chiefs, not sheriffs, but police chiefs, that the number would come up, and in the 10 years between 2012 and 2002, I know you're getting sick of facts, but there were, each year, the percentage of police officers in the nation that got killed, and with these large capacity magazines, was between 21 and 31% a year. And that's, you know, I can get anybody to listen who wants to see it. Is that enough reason to create an inconvenience for everyone when they go to shooting range? I don't know. In 1934, I asked somebody, I said, well, next thing you're going to know, we should ban sawed-off shotguns. And they said, you better not ban those sawed-off shotguns. Hey, we already did, right? 1934, when sawed-off shotguns were being used in the Depression by bank robbers throughout the Midwest, the country came together after a long, painful discussion and said, all right, we're not going to have sawed-off shotguns. So now if you want to have a sawed-off shotgun now, you've got to get a special license from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Right? Same thing with automatic weapons or shoot guns. We said that they were just too dangerous. So I get the balance. No one, trust me, no one is trying to take anyone's Second Amendment rights. And the boycott was, you know, a worst, I mean, the last thing anybody, certainly the last thing I ever wanted. And we are putting extra advertising dollars to it, and we're going to monitor the living daylights out of it. And, you know, we follow closely the blogs and the people that hunt when they send in their information. We've done a random survey of, I don't know how many, but a number of them. And it doesn't feel like the talk of a boycott. There's still enough attraction here. Some of the most beautiful hunting land in this hemisphere, and some of the best trophies that you can ever find, and that's still attracting people. But we're going to work as hard as we can to make sure there is no negative blowback, I guarantee you. Thank you all for being here. I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day. I really appreciate it.